الشياطين وأعوذ بك ربي أن يحضرون. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So this course, description about this course is about introduction to the basic language of the Quran. It's a basic course that helps students who want to understand the final book, the final revelation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through lessons and exercises and demonstrations. We will apply the alphabets of the Arabic language, signs of those Arabic words, and apply it in the Quran. We will deepen our studies by reviewing Arabic courses for English-speaking students and also utilize Vienna Dream handout texts and Tajweed-made easy videos and verses of the Quran. By completing lessons and exercises and assignments, one would ask, what is the outcome? One thing is the outcome is the objectives. The objectives are to understand the alphabetics of the Arabic language, proper recitation of the Quran, and at least ability to read. By completing lesson exercises and assignment provided and reviewing feedbacks and reading the courses handouts I will post on the YouTube page, the students of knowledge will have gotten the basic understanding of the Quran. This is every Muslim needs to learn the language of the Quran, needs to learn what his creator is communicating. Of course, not in the English text, but in the actual text that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent down. So one other thing, we start with the Arabic letters. There are about 28 to 29. 28 of them are our letters, including alif, ba, ta, tha, jim, ha, kha, dal, dhal, ra, za, sin, shin, sad, dad, da, ain, sad, dad, da, ain, ghain, fa, qaf, kaf, lam, mim, nun, waw, ha, hamza, ya. And of course there are similar letters that sound almost exactly the same. They might look different, but when you pronounce them, their pronunciations seem like they're exactly as if they were ditto. But there are some kind of differences between these words. So I'm going to get into a couple of things here. The tajweed, also another thing about tajweed. The tajweed, it means the root mean. The author here that I'm reading from, of the final revelation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, peace and blessings upon Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The word tajweed is from the root word of jawda, which means quality. For those who don't know what quality is, it is something that is made with proficiency, that is made with great effort. Good quality. A good quality would be food that does not expire on its expiration date. Instead, it is expiring possibly 2 months, 3 months, or even further from the expiration date, and it is proper. It has been used proper techniques for there's different types of qualities, measurements and of quality. There's another quality as versus the animal that is slaughtered other than Allah's name, and the quality of the name of an animal that was slaughtered with Allah's name, with this Bismillah. There's a difference in between quality. As we know, as a believer, spiritually, and as a command by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is when we slaughtering the animal, what we say when we slaughter the animal, as versus to just slaughtering the animal of using other words, like hurrimat alaykum, and using other things. Tajweed means to improving. It means to improve something. It means to improve. For example, you have a building, you are building, say you're building a complex, or you're building a residential home. You need to talk to the contractor, you need to talk to the architect, you need to talk to the subcontractors, know the contract information of what you're building, what are you utilizing, your assets and things like that, and you're improving your construction. You're not sitting back at home and thinking that things are going to happen magically and stuff like that. So you're constantly improving, coming to the work site, making sure things are appropriate, going by the prints, and going by if things need to be adjusted, things are adjusted accordingly. And this is what improvement is. Just like this tajweed, we tend to recite. Even me myself, I'm not a superficial reciter, or I'm super reciter. But I have to go back into the Arabic alphabets and repeat the alif, ba, ta, and up to yes, just to have the pronunciation correct, and review some of these pronunciations to improve and to get better. The word tajweed now linguistically means also, again, we talked about it, it's proficiency, accuracy, hitting every word at its correct area. Every word has its own characteristics. Every word has its own rules, and we'll get into that. The Quran was revealed with tajweed rules applied to it. Jibreel alayhi salam, whom received the Quran from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and brought it to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam according to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted his recitation to be as. And that is what we follow today, the rules of tajweed. As we know that the Arabs, the Arabs back in the days, they did not use these harakas, these dhammas, these fathas, qasas, or particularly these noons and so forth, these dots on the letters. This was made later on in the generation because of the mass Muslims entering the fold of Islam, and these were non-Arabs, so they were not used to the language, so they needed these harakats and these symbols to understand and how to properly recite the Quran, so it does not be altered. Of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that He will protect the Quran, unlike all the previous scriptures that has been changed, the Torah, the Gospel, all these other scriptures. It's divine books that from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but they were meant to change. Allah sent the last Rasul, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, with the book and guidance until the end of days. Until the end of days. Until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes up His revelations and it comes upon the people. So another thing is, now the short vowels are the short harakas. The harakas are the fathas, the kasras, the dhamma. These are harakats. Harakats, again, they are fathas, dhammas, and kasras. What are these harakats? So a fatha is a diagonal stroke on top of a letter, on top of an Arabic letter. As we went through alif, ba, ta, fa, jim, ha, kha, etc. And these letters itself are the alphabet letters, but if you place a haraka on a letter, these are not called Arabic alphabet letters. The letters change. They go through a transformation. But when you put a kasra under a sound, for example, fatha denotes the sound of as English is translated as it at the letter A, and then e, the sound that will translate as the letter I, and u, that will translate the sound of the letter u, the letter u. So it's a, e, u, and u. All right. These are the letters. These are the harakats. Again, these are three letters. Not three letters, these are three symbols. One of them are horizontal and it's on top of the letter. The other one is horizontal on the bottom of the letter. And the other one is a dhamma. It appears to be a woe on top of the letter. So now another thing is to know is what is the sukoon. A sukoon. We know it's a sukoon to be. We see the sukoon coming in the Quran. Sometimes people, you see them stop shortly, slightly. It's barely noticeable, but there is a stop. This is called a sukoon letter receives a sukoon. Sometimes you might see a circle on top of a letter, and sometimes you might see this kind of symbol that's like half of a crescent or a crescent on top of a letter. This is called a sukoon. And when you see a sukoon, you have to stop for not for 2 seconds, 3 seconds, a second. It's just a slight pause, really a slight pause when these sukoons come in. So, and another thing is to know that again, a vowel letter in Arabic, a vowel is called haraka, movement. A vowel is called what? A haraka. Again, that's good for your terminology to understand what the meaning of it is. And an alphabet having a vowel sign is called mutaharik. So an alphabet having this vowel sign is called mutaharik. That's when you apply it. But when you don't apply it, it's called haraka. If an alphabet is without a vowel sign or has a sukoon, so if it doesn't have any of these, if an alphabet does not have these e's or u sounds but has a sukoon, it's called a sakin, also known as stationary, also known as a sakin letter. Another thing, the author of this article is saying that a sakina letter either does not have an haraka or it has a sukoon and is always preceded by a letter with a haraka. So he speaks about that the letter preceding it has a haraka on it and it has a sukoon. And this is another way to find out what this is. Halaka. So now we go to the bouncing letters, the bouncing rules. These are, it's not, I'm not talking about basketball for you guys who play basketball or play soccer or football or bouncing balls on the ground. Obviously not. So a khalkhala, which means an echo. It's an echo. It's applied whenever it's following 5 letters. So it applies, these echoing sounds apply only to 5 letters. These 5 letters are ba, jim, dal, dal, and qa. Ba is the second letter in the alphabet, the Arabic alphabet letter, obviously, as you can see. And we have jim coming in as in the 5th Arabic letter, jim and so forth, and it goes to dal and ta and qaf. Again, they are ba, jim, dal, da, ba, jim, dal, da, and qaf. So the long vowels. So long vowels, in order to make the sound longer, an additional letter is inserted after the letter upon which the vowel is placed, and as resulting, the sound is now longer. So you have a ba with a fatha, and you have an alif. Now you merge these two together. Of course, you connect them as the Arabic, using the Arabic ruling. Then you start. This means that the word becomes ba. It's pressed on. It's pressed on. The letter is pressed on. Like if you have a ba and a kasra and a ya, you say the ya has a sukoon, obviously. So you say b. You know, b, not b, quickly. You know, you let it flow. You let it flow, and then another one is with the ba with the dhamma and the waw with the sukoon, same thing, boo. So we have ba, b, boo. The length of the elongation is measured by the either closing an open finger or closing is it opening a finger or closing a finger. So the author is saying that the length of the pronunciation or how long you'll be pressing on the letter would be the length of a finger going up or the length of a finger going down. The inserted letter has a sukoon on it, but it's sometimes omitted in writing. So don't be expecting a sukoon to be on the letter. Sometimes they do not use the sukoon at all. So we have alif, alif, ba, ba, ta, tha, jim, ha, ha, kha, dal, ذال را زا سين شين صاد ضاد ضاء ظاء عين غين ثاء قاف كاف لام ميم نون واو هاء همزة ياء. This is another ya. Alif باء تاء ثاء جيم حاء خاء دال ذال راء زاء سين شين صاد ضاد ضاء ظاء عين غين ثاء قاف كاف لام ميم نون واو هاء همزة ياء. ألف باء تاء ثاء جيم حاء خاء دال ذال راء زاء سين شين صاد ضاد ضاء ضاء عين غين فاء قاف كاف لام ميم نون واو هاء همزة ياء. ألف باء تاء ثاء جيم حاء خاء دال ذال راء زاء سين شين صاد ضاد ضاء ضاء عين غين فاء قاف كاف لام ميم نون واو هاء همزة ياء. Okay, Now we talked about the alphabet letters. We went into it, whether it was 28 or 29. Both opinions are correct. But now for this one, also alphabets can be divided into subgroups. They are divided into what? Subgroups. Sets, for example, there are 5 subgroups. These subgroups are the iqaf alphabet, al-huruf al-iqafa, and there is the idhar alphabet, al-huruf al-idhar, and there is the yarmalun idqam alphabets, al-huruf al-idqam, yarmalun, and the fourth one is the qalqala alphabets, to know when the letter is a qalqala, and that's ba, and then there is the fifth one, that's ba, jim, dal, and ta, and qaf. The fifth one is iqlab alphabets, the al-huruf al-iqlab. So the first one is the iqafa alphabets, the al-huruf al-iqafa. They consist of 15 letters, of the Arabic letters. So if they consist of how many letters? 15 letters. You do the math. Why subtract that from 28 letters? So ta is one of them. Ta is one of them. Tha is another one. Jim, dal, dhal, za, sin, shin, swad, dad, da, fa, qaf, and kaf. As you can clearly see, I labeled the letters here. And then the other ones are the idhar alphabets. They consist of hamza, ha, ayn, ha, ghayn, and qa. Again, the idhar alphabets are hamza, ha, ayn, ha, ghayn, and qa. The yarmalun letters are ya, ra, mim, lam, waw, nun. Again, ya, ra, mim, lam, waw, and nun. The qalqala letters are ba, jim, dal, da, and qaf. The iqlab letter is ba. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode.